Will you save money on your move to Auburn? This video is going to cover everything you need to know about the cost of living in Auburn, Alabama, so stay tuned. Auburn, Alabama area. I want you to make sure to go ahead. Hey everyone, Alex Acuff here with eXp Realty and the Acuff Weekly Group serving the greater Auburn area. And if this is your first time to our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. Throw us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know what you love about the video today because we want to hear from you. And we are getting reach outs from people just like you every single day that are looking to make the move to the Auburn, Opelika area. So if that's you, feel free to reach out to me and my team. We would love to schedule a Zoom call, quickly get to know you and exactly what your needs are on your move here to Auburn, and be the boots on the ground that help you secure the perfect home for you and your move to Auburn. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about everything cost of living, and this is 2024. So I've done a video previously about the cost of living, but things have absolutely changed. Inflation has really kicked in. There's been a ton of money printed since my last video about the cost of living. So I feel it is vital to update you guys on everything about the cost of living here in Auburn. Why do people move to Auburn? Job opportunities, Auburn University, their focus on healthcare, which we will get into at the very end of this video, so stick around to the end. The weather, we do have those mild winters, we do have warmer summers, but a lot of people love to come and live in Auburn, retire here. It's a wonderful place to live year-round. And the overall cost of living, Auburn is generally cheaper than the cost of living across the United States. We'll get into the home price index. We will get into the cost of living index compared to other large metropolitan cities around the country, so I can help you make that educated decision whether you want to make the move to Auburn, Alabama. So what do things cost? We're going to be talking about house costs. We're going to talk about rental costs. We're going to talk about groceries, utilities, entertainment, taxes, and healthcare. Now, the cost of living index in the United States is a scale that ranges right around 100 as what we call par for the course. So when we compare Auburn to major metros like Atlanta, let's just say you live about an hour and a half away and you live in Atlanta, you will take a 20% decrease in the cost of living. So it's 20% cheaper to live in Auburn, Alabama compared to Atlanta. As well as if you're coming from New York, it's actually 50% cheaper to live in Auburn, Alabama, according to the cost of living price index. So it's significantly cheaper. I've been to New York several times, and oh my gosh, just the fares are expensive enough. Make sure you take the subway. And then according to payscale.com, we are 40% cheaper than living in LA. So whichever way you cut it, coming from a larger city, you're taking at least a minimum 20% price cut on your cost of living, which is fantastic and just one of the big reasons why you should consider Auburn, Alabama as your next home. Now let's talk about housing. We're going to talk a little bit about the median cost of a home. So a median cost of a home in Auburn, Alabama is right at $409,000 according to April of 2024 from redfin.com. And so you will have homes that range less than that, but if you're looking for really that middle ground of a home and what that price is, a little over $400,000 is really to be expected. It could be as low as really about $175,000 to $225,000. You're not going to get much for that price, but you can totally expect for your middle ground 4-bedroom home in Auburn, probably a part of an HOA, you're going to pay about $409,000. Now, condos are really just their own little world. So you're only going to really find a whole lot of condos close to Auburn University. Now, those are going to range from the 230s, roughly, about for a one-bedroom. For a one-bedroom close to university, you're going to pay about $225,000, $230,000. And then they're going to range all the way up to $750,000, completely dependent on the location of the complex, how nice the unit is, how desirable it is, how good the condo association is and how many amenities they have. So there's a lot of variations that go into that. So if you're a parent watching this video and curious about the cost of living for your student when they come to Auburn, those are the things to consider when looking at the condos. Make sure just to reach out to me and my team. We'd love to have a quick conversation. We work with parents all the time. If you came to Camp War Eagle, you probably met us, so we can talk all about the cost of living when it comes to living in a condo. Next, I want to talk about the rent situation here in Auburn. Now, you can find rents as low as $1,100, but most likely, if you're looking to rent about a 3 or 4 bedroom home, I would completely expect to pay at least about $1,400 or $1,500. Now, the average, according to Redfin, is only about $1,130, but I will tell you that is definitely on the low end. I own several rentals myself, and I can tell you from experience, they're a lot more expensive than that. For example, if you're looking to rent an older home that's been updated, that's a 4 bedroom in the middle of Auburn, what we call in the loop, then you're going to be looking at rents somewhere in the 2,000 mark. So just something to consider when looking at renting a home in the Auburn area. And of course, if you're looking to search for all kinds of homes and condos on the market, townhouses, make sure just to go to acuffweeklygroup.com. Me and my team would love to serve you. Next, let's talk about groceries and how much are the groceries here in Auburn so you can compare this to where you currently live. So a gallon of milk is about $3.81. So pretty average as far as a gallon of milk. I've seen other places, especially on vacation, where it's much more expensive, upwards of $5 for a gallon of milk, but here it's just $3.81. Next, we have eggs, which are averaging about $3.35. Of course, if you're going after the organic, farm-raised, nothing, you can pay upwards of $6, $7 for a dozen of those. Next is beef. So if you're looking to buy some meat here in the area, on average, you're going to pay about $4.27. I will say my local butcher shop is a fantastic resource for this, as well as the Auburn Meat Lab on campus. Just check the hours online. That'll get you local beef that's raised and butchered here locally, so you can eat some really well-sourced meats. Cereal is about $3.50 per box, so pretty average on the cereal. And of course, produce is going to vary completely. It all depends on the seasonality. It depends on if it's organic or not. But on average, we're going to see pretty average prices when it comes to produce. Next, let's talk about eating out in Auburn, because if you're moving here, you've got to absolutely account for eating out, especially if you're in business, if you're doing any networking, going to lunch. So that average per meal is going to be about $10.50 per meal. Now, if you're going out and you get about a mid-range meal, you're going to pay somewhere between $25 to $50 per meal for 2. And then when you go on the higher end, let's just say you're going to Acre, you're going to Hamilton's or the Depot or the Hound, you're going to be somewhere in that $50 to $75 per plate meal. So it's just something to account for whenever looking to eat out in Auburn. Now, we get asked all the time about transportation, and that is something to look into. So we have Lee County public transportation. It's roughly about $1.50 for that bus ticket. And then also we don't have any like local transit as far as just anything other than the Lee County. Other than if you're with Auburn University, you do have Tiger Transit, which is a whole different story. I've got a whole nother video about Auburn University and Tiger Transit, so we're not going to cover that today. But really, you're looking at Uber and Lyft here in town. Those are really your local services. Of course, that's going to vary completely on where you're going and where you're coming from. Now, on the transportation kick, you're going to want to know about our commutes. Now, you're going to love this, especially coming from New York or LA or Atlanta or Birmingham. Our commutes are no more than 15, 20 minutes. I don't care where you live in Auburn. It's only going to take you 15 to 20 minutes to get really anywhere. Now, for example, I go to church on the south side of town, but I live on the north side of town. It takes me right at 20 minutes for me to get all the way to the south side of town. So I can tell you, it's not going to take you more than 15, 20 minutes. That's what we love about living here in Auburn, is that we don't have all the traffic of the major cities. We have a lot of the perks that the major cities have as far as employers and everything, but you don't have all of the traffic. Next, let's talk about utilities, and that's your gas, your power, your water, and your internet and cable. Now, those bills are pretty much only going to average about $300 to $350 here in the Auburn area. Of course, that's going to vary depending on the house you have, because if you have an older house that does not stay cool enough in the summertime, just your power bill can be well over $300. So that is something to consider, and that's something that we always help our clients understand. Whenever buying a home in the area, we want to make sure you know exactly who the providers are and what those average costs are. If you're buying one of our listings, we've already asked our sellers exactly what those numbers are, so just reach out to us. We'd love to help you with it. Next, let's talk about cost of weekending or the entertainment here in the area. So going to a movie, you're looking at about $12 for a ticket to the movie theater here. And of course, we have two main theaters. You have the Auburn Theater, and then you have one in Opelika as well. They're your major, they have all your IMAX, they're gonna have every major picture that's in the movie theaters here locally. So you're looking at about $12 per ticket. Now, if you're looking to do a local event here in town, it really can range. You can go to local community events or held by the city, and you could pay anywhere as cheap as $3 to $5 for a ticket for those events. But on average, if you're going out for a weekend, you're going to be entertained by what's locally going on. You're probably going to spend somewhere between $15 to $30 for those events. Next, let's talk about property taxes. Now, if you're living in the city of Auburn, your tax rate for that $409,000 with a homestead exemption, we'll talk about in just a second, is about $2,250. Now, if that property that's $409,000 is a rental property, that number is going to just about double. So you're looking at more of close to that $4,500 mark for your taxes. Now, in the county, they are slightly less than the city taxes, so you do get a little bit of a break if you're looking for a home outside of the city limits. And then also those tax exemptions, there's a few things you just need to know. There are some senior exemptions, so you could completely get a really low tax or no taxes at all. And then also we have homestead exemption, which cuts your property taxes in half, like I talked about earlier on that $409,000 home. And then there are other benefits for veterans as well. So reach out to me. We can get you the whole list. The Lee County site has all of the tax exemptions as well. Next is sales tax, and the sales tax in the city of Auburn is actually 9%. Now, I will say when shopping, I would be looking for some of those holiday discounts. We do have some tax-free weekends, so if you're doing some certain shopping, you can just Google search all about the tax-free weekends when shopping here in the Auburn area. Now, that 9% I talked about is actually 1% higher than the surrounding area, so it is a little bit higher to live in Auburn. But hey, look, when you have streamlined recycling and garbage pickup and many other amenities that others don't have, then you'll understand why. Now, our income tax rate compared to the US is only 2 to 5%, so our income tax rate is on average lower than the US. So simple enough. Now let's talk about the healthcare cost index. The healthcare cost index for Auburn is actually 122, which means it's 22% more expensive to have healthcare in the city of Auburn. So when you look up the index, it's going to cover everything from pharmaceuticals, doctor visits, everything you need to know. But just understand that healthcare is more expensive here. So it could be due to a couple different factors. It could be a higher demand for performance from the medical field here locally, as well as the demand. So having Auburn University and all the students, and then as well as we have a massive population of snowbirds as well as retirees. So our healthcare, the expectation is better than the surrounding area, so it is a little bit more expensive. And then also the insurance rate can also lead to higher insurance as well. So thank you so much for joining me today on this cost of living video of 2024 for Auburn, Alabama. Like I said earlier in the video, if you're looking to make the move and transition to the Auburn area, we want to be your trusted resource. We want to help facilitate that deal and help you make the move to the Auburn, Opelika, and surrounding areas, as well as even West Georgia. So if you're looking to make the move, reach out to me and my team. We'd love to schedule a Zoom call, get to know you and exactly what you're looking for, because people reach out to us every single day just like you. We'd love to serve you. So thank you so much for joining me on this cost of living video, and we'll see you on the next one.